you what's been on my mind. Sick and tired of the 9 to 5 in the city life. Hey darling, we could get out of town, see the beautiful world around, wanna see it now. Pack our bags and get in that car, leave a little note and we'll drive real far. Let's get out.
Hey everyone, welcome to the Farm and Pastor's Wife. I'm so glad you're here. It's Sunday evening and we're having family supper here tonight. My house is a disaster. I've had 2 little boys over yesterday and the night before, and they popped in all day yesterday and they're coming back tonight. So there's no point in picking up the crayons and all that good stuff. So, well, actually, their mama just picked up all the crayons. But there's some other stuff out that's not been picked up. And there's no point because they're coming right back. But we're having family supper and you guys are going to join me. Hey, if you're new here, my name's Leslie. I am the Farm and Pastor's Wife, and welcome to my kitchen down on the farm. I would love for you to hit subscribe, hit that bell notification. Be sure to give me a thumbs up. And to all of you, my faithful followers, the greatest way you can support my channel is to share my videos on your social media platform, and I would greatly appreciate it. So we're having our macaroni yum yum, goulash, I don't know, whatever you want to call it. We kind of call it macaroni yum yum. So that's what we're having tonight. And I just want you to join us. So I did some pre-prep earlier, and let me run that footage while I get everything else ready and started. So here I am cutting up 3 very small onions. I would assume I got about 2 cups worth of onions, but I didn't have any large onions, so I just sliced up 3 pretty small onions. I have found a way that you don't have to cut it sideways. You just cut each angle towards the center of that onion. You can see my knife rotating a little bit as it's cutting towards the center of the onions, and then I just go right down the front and it chops it into perfect little small pieces. You don't have to go crossways. See, I'm pointing my knife towards the center and then I go down. I did not take a slice across the middle towards my hand. I used to do that, but I no longer find that necessary. I have learned how to chop these onions nicely. So yeah, we're just going to chop onions. My eyes did not tear up at all, which was very unusual, but I did have a fairly sharp knife, and I feel like that always helps when you have a good sharp knife that's not causing a lot of those juices to come running out. And that one just about got away from me. But you need plenty of onions and plenty of green peppers. And here is my green pepper. I just chopped the top and the bottom off. Take my knife, run it around the inside, and just out pops the center and leaves nothing behind. Super nice way to chop your onions. You do lose a little on the bottom, but you can still go back and trim that up. I did not, but you could definitely by all means do that. And I just cut it into julienne, then turn it around and chop it, slice it again. So just little chopped pieces of green pepper. I thought at this point, I thought 1 would be enough. So I just asked Caroline to grab me 1 out of the refrigerator. I decided it did need 2 green peppers. So I'm going to take that pepper and wash it here in just a minute, and then come right back and we chop peppers again. I love my new way of cutting peppers, cutting the top and the bottom off. This just seems so easy. And the center just popped right out. you can hear behind me, my coffee pot is perking. But yeah, we're just going to chop these peppers and I cook them right in with the hamburger. I get the hamburger started. You'll see that in just a minute. I get it started, and then I just add the green peppers and the onions in with it, and it gets done in no time flat. Just taking a bench scraper and picking up my vegetables here, putting them in a bowl ready to go in with the hamburger. Okay, so we're starting with this about 2 1/4 pounds of 80-20, yes, 80-20 ground beef. And we're just going to open that up. And we're going to get it to, I'm using a stock pot because we're going to make our sauce all in the same pot. And so I'm just using a stock pot from the get-go. No point in messing up a frying pan and then switching over to a stock pot. So I'm just going to kind of break this up a little bit. And we're going to get it frying. You saw that I've already got the peppers and the onions chopped and ready. So once this gets to going and the grease starts coming out, we will add in our onions and green peppers. All right, it's just starting to cook just a little bit, just ever so lightly. So I'm going to add some black pepper in here. And we're going to add some Lowry seasoning salt. I make this different ways. I think I've done this on my channel at least one other time. And this way may be totally different. It's just how I'm feeling it at the moment. So I'm just seasoning it with the Lowry seasoning salt. And once this breaks down just a little bit more, and I get a little bit more grease flowing, I'll add my onions and peppers. I like to cook those along with the meat to help season the meat to where it just adds flavor. All right, almost there. I'll bring you back as soon as it gets to going good enough to add everything else back in. Okay, you can see that it is starting to, change colors a little bit and loosen up. There's some oil in the bottom of it. So sorry, I hit the camera. So at this point, we're going to add in our onions and peppers. And I really did not measure that at all. I used 2 green peppers and 3 small, very small onions. So as you can see, this is very, very flavorful with the peppers and the onions. All right, so we're just going to let this cook. When it gets a little closer to being done, we're going to add in some minced garlic. Okay, so we have cooked way down, and it's still cooking. I still want it to get a little more done, but we're going to go ahead and add in some minced garlic at this point, and I'm just going to add a good tablespoon in there. And we can add some more garlic powder later on if we need to. The reason I didn't put this in first is because if you burn garlic, it creates the most horrific, bitter, burnt. It's just terrible. So you want to add it in the later stages of cooking. So we're going to cook this just a few more minutes. And then I'm going to do my paper towel trick with the grease. I'll probably do that off camera just because it's going to take some, I got to push the meat over, put the paper towels in and all that good stuff. So I'm going to be doing that in just a little bit. And then we'll move on to the next step. So I've drained the grease. I have just the hamburger, garlic, onions, peppers in here. So we're going to add 3 cups of crushed tomatoes. And I actually may come in here and add a little bit more of tomatoes. And if I do, I'm going to add diced tomatoes just to give it a little bit of a tomato chunk here and there. But we're going to stir this around and see if that's enough. I think it needs just a little bit more. I don't think that's quite enough. So I have a can of Petite diced tomatoes. If you can hear my family in the background, I apologize. We are in high gear getting ready for the chicken stew. And so Sundays, it's a lot of times family time for us. And right now it's family time getting ready for the chicken stew. So I'm going to add in a few petite diced. You want to get petite diced because I don't want big chunks of tomatoes in here, just a few small chunks. I'm not going to add the entire can yet. I'm going to add just maybe half of it to begin with. And we'll see how far that goes. I think I'm going to add the whole can. So there we go. I added the whole can. So that is 1 28-ounce can of crushed tomatoes, and you really want a fairly good brand if you can find one. I looked for, is it Centos? But did not see that. So I grabbed that, and then I happen to have this in the cabinet, the Petite diced Great Value brand. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is we're going to season this up with some Italian seasoning. And I'm just going to use a pretty good hefty handful, if I can get it open. What do you think? 1.5 tablespoons to 2 tablespoons going in. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn this down on low. We're going to add some sugar in here in just a little bit. I really kind of want it a little more tomatoey. I may add a can of tomato paste. It just doesn't look quite tomatoey enough for me yet. So anyway, I'm going to turn this down on low. I'm going to let it cook for a little bit. I'm going to add some sugar. Now, let me tell you, sugar does nothing to cut the acid. So if you're doing sugar to help with like stomach issues, that does not help. Baking soda might, but the sugar doesn't. But what the sugar does do is it does give it a sweetness. And I like in my pasta, spaghetti type bolognese, those type sauces, I do like just a hint of sweetness. Not overly sweet, but just a hint. So I'm going to let this cook, flavor up, and get good and delicious. I'm not going to add any tomato paste yet, and I'm not going to add any sugar yet. I'm going to wait and let it just cook because look, the bell peppers have some sweetness, the onions have some sweetness, and I want to get everything I can from what's in here, because if I add sugar and then the rest of the stuff adds sweetness, it may get over sweet. So I'm going to wait till right before we put this together and then add. So we are going to just, now I know what people are saying when they say it cuts that acid. It cuts that twangy taste. It cuts that tomato taste. I totally get what they're saying. But if you're doing it for stomach reasons, it probably does not help. However, some baking soda might. Anyway, all right, so this is just going to cook down. What I'm going to do while that's cooking is I'm going to put together a salad, and then I'm going to shred up some cheese for our pasta dish, because this is actually going to be a pasta bake. And so the first thing we're going to do is put a salad together real fast. I was always taught to tear my lettuce, not to cut it. What about you guys? I think the reason was being that it browns really easy when you cut it, but maybe not quite so much when you tear it. I don't know the science behind that. I don't even know if that's true, but that's what I was taught. So I guess I have passed that. I don't know what Caroline does to a salad. I don't even know if she makes a whole lot of salads, but I tear my lettuce. And I can feel the big ribs that need to come out too. So what do y'all do? Do you tear or do you cut? I want this salad to last us as long as it can. So if there's leftovers, I want to be able to eat on it tomorrow. All right. Lettuce is done. All right, tell me what you guys put in your salads. Not everybody here likes green peppers in their salad, but I do leave them big enough that if they don't like them, they can just pick them out. But I still put them in there because I would say the majority like them. But if they don't, they can just reach in and grab them and pull them out. I was one of those strict moms who you ate what I fixed. And I mean, you didn't have if there was peppers in there and you didn't like them, you could pick them out. That was totally fine. But you didn't turn your nose up at anything. If we went to somebody's house, my children knew they better not ever say yuck or gross or I don't like that. They didn't say anything. If it was something they absolutely couldn't eat, they kind of knew just to leave it on their plate. But I was just one of those moms. So, okay, I'm going to peel the cucumber and wash the tomatoes, and I'll be right back. Okay, I've got the cucumber all sliced up. Tomatoes are so small, I'm not going to slice them in half or anything. They're little cherry, sweetie, cute, whatever they're called. And I'm just going to put those in. And then I'm just going to take my hands and give a little mixy mix. And there we go. There we have salad. All right. And now I'm going to take this bowl and I'm going to grate up some cheese for our pasta dish. And then we're going to go give it a taste and see what we need. Okay, I gave it a taste and I just want a little bit more tomato. So instead of tomato paste, I'm going to add in a small can of tomato sauce. I just want it to be just a little bit more tomatoey. And I am going to add some sugar. I'm going to start with probably somewhere between 1/8 and 1/4 of a cup to start with. But I'll get that out in just a second. I'm getting out my cheese grater to grate up the cheese, but I just happened to see I think I need a little more tomato. Okay, so for some reason I wasn't recording, but I did add not quite 1/4 of a cup of sugar. I just think it just gives it a subtleness. It takes away a little bit of that bite. But here's something I like to add that gives it just kind of a salty creaminess, sharpness that I do enjoy adding, and that is some Parmesan cheese. You can add grated Parmesan, you can grate it yourself, or you can use the green top stuff, whatever. And this is Parmesan Romano, but either, whatever. And, they'll add this at their own plate in the table. Probably I just added a tablespoon, maybe 2, not a whole lot. And it just kind of softens it up, gives it a salty savoriness that I just happen to like. And I can definitely pick up on it. I know when it's in there and I know when it's not. So I super enjoy that. Okay, so our sauce is made. So I'm actually going to cut that off for right now. It is actually ready to go. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to cook on the stovetop a pound box of macaroni noodles. And I'm just going to cook them according to package directions. So there's no need to watch that. I'll put a little bit of oil in the water and a little bit of salt in the water. Actually, a whole lot of salt in the water. And bring it to a boil, cook it according to the package directions. And then I'll bring you guys back for the next step. Noodles are done and they have been drained. I cook them right in the middle. It says 9 to 11. Usually I go on the lesser side and keep it al dente, but I did right in the middle with these. So I have my sauce here in the pan. I have a 9x13 greased and ready to go. Let me grab my noodles and bring you guys over here. Hope it's not dripping. And we're just going to mix these noodles right in that sauce. Y'all, it just don't get much better than this. All right, now I'm going to turn you guys over here to the island, and I'm coming with the pot to pour over in here in the, we're cleaning, so I've got stuff laid out everywhere. We're going to pour this right into this 9x13 that I have nicely greased. Let me grab my spatula. All right. Now I'm going to do some dishes, cleaning up. It's not quite ready to get this in the oven yet, but what we will do when it's time, I'm just going to let it sit right out here on the counter. When it's time to go in the oven, I will top it with that cheese. We'll stick it in the oven. Now, several of you will ask me, I know, do I cover it and do I not? And I am not going to cover it unless, I'm going to keep my eye on it. If the cheese starts getting too brown and so forth, then I will cover it at that point. But I'm going to start out with it uncovered. And everything is cooked. Basically, all I need to do is melt the cheese, really. So, and then reheat it if it cools down. So I'm going to turn my oven on, get it ready. And right before I stick it in, I'll top it with the cheese. And then we'll go in for about 20 to 25 minutes, mainly just to melt the cheese but also to heat it back up should it need heating. It may not take 20 minutes. It may only take 15. I don't know. But I'm going to wash some dishes. The salad's ready. Pasta and everything is ready. The cheese has been shredded. The tea has been made. The only thing I need to do is put the sugar in the tea pitcher, pour the tea up, and put butter on the bread. So, and then we'll bake the bread after this comes out. So, all right, I'll bring you back when it's time for whatever we do next. I'm going to get to cleaning. Okay, we are ready to almost go in the oven. So I've got my cheese. Bryant got it out for me. I had stuck it back in the refrigerator. The reason I like using my grate, a block cheese where I grate it is because it melts better. So when I'm putting it on top, do I always use this? No. Sometimes convenience rules and it's just easier to use the bag cheese. But today I had a little extra time, so I'm going to put this cheese because it just melts better. It's going to be all ooey and gooey and delicious. And I'm just covering the top with this cheese. Bryant just mentioned putting mozzarella on there. And I have some mozzarella, and we could definitely do that. Bryant, do you want me to add mozzarella? Yeah. Okay. That is definitely doable. It would make it, you get that string effect for sure. The cheese pull effect. All right. So I actually put a good amount of cheese on this. So we are going in the oven. Now, if you have any noodles exposed as far as sticking up out of it, they will, bake and become crunchy. But I like that. I like getting a hold of a crunchy one every now and then. So, but if you don't like that, be sure to cover it all with cheese. Okay, so it is going to go in the oven for about 15 up to 25 minutes, depending on how cool your stuff is. Mine has been sitting out. I can touch it, but it is still warm. So probably 15 to 20 minutes is all mine will take. So one thing I almost forgot was I need some ranch dressing. I thought I still had some bottled in there, but I don't. So we're going to make our own real quick. I just need a cup of mayonnaise. And then I got to run over and grab the buttermilk. I like buttermilk. It gives it that twang, that good flavor twang. But if you don't have buttermilk, you can definitely use regular milk. Or, better yet, you can make your own buttermilk just by measuring you out about a cup of the milk, add a teaspoon of lemon juice or a teaspoon of vinegar, let it sit for 5 minutes, and voila, you have buttermilk. Okay, so let me grab the buttermilk. I'll be right back. All right, so in the same container I had the mayonnaise in, we're going to measure out the same amount of buttermilk. I've given it a good shake, but it was frozen. So it's a little thinner than normal. So I may take a little bit more mayonnaise. I'm going to take another spoonful of mayonnaise just to help the thickness. Ooh. All right. Let me grab a measuring spoon. I need a tablespoon. And we're going to use 3 tablespoons of your ranch dressing mix, or 1 package was probably 3 tablespoons. Now, I always go a little heaping, but you do it how you like to. I season a lot of stuff with this. I season my chicken. I season my, I can put it on roast. I can put it on pork chops. I can put it on all kinds of things. So I keep these big containers around all the time of ranch dressing mix. And I'm just going to stir all the lumps out of this, and then we'll have ranch dressing for our salads. Like I said, it's a little bit thinner than normal, but that's because the buttermilk was frozen. And so it was, you know, I guess I didn't shake it up well enough after I thawed out the top. All right. I'm just going to keep stirring, and I'll see you when we put everything together. I have one thing left to do, and that is our bread. And I'm just getting it ready. This is what I refer to when I say barbecue bread. I know a lot of people can't seem to find it, but we are blessed that we can. But it is just this thick piece of bread with sesame seeds on the top. I think where it got its name is because people could actually put this on the grill and barbecue it, you know, butter it up and barbecue it. Don't hold me to that, but that's what I've heard. But I just put it on a cookie sheet and I spread butter on it. And I could sprinkle some garlic, but I think I'm just going to leave it buttered and let, you know, if anybody wants garlic, I guess they can spread it on it themselves. But so yeah, I have one sheet of bread here, and I'm going to go ahead and put some softened butter, smear some softened butter on it, get it ready to go in the oven. And as soon as my Macaroni Yum Yum comes out, then we can stick the bread in. Okay, everybody, this is all that is left. Salad was eaten. We actually finished that entire loaf of bread, and we got out some Texas toast. And so let's go ask the family. Disregard my messy living room, but let's, Jess, Caroline, and Jamie, how was supper?
I'm a bumblebee. A++++.
10 out of 10. Jamie, what'd you think?
That was delicious.
Judah, how was supper?
I'm a bee.
I'm a bee. Levi, how was supper?
Good.
Good. Okay. All right, what do you think?
2 thumbs up.
2 thumbs up. And look who it is. 1 thumb up.
2 thumbs up. I get 3. 3 thumbs
3.
up.
He gave me his toe. Okay, y'all.
Thumbs up.
Well, we're having family night. We'll see you next time on The Farm and Pastor's Wife. I'll come say bye before we end the video. Well, it is the next day, and supper was delicious. It is actually all gone. There was nothing left. Well, we had a little bit, just a scoop that I put in a plastic container and stuck in the refrigerator. By the time everybody left and by the time everybody went to bed, there was nothing left except just a little bit for me to put in a container, you know, one of those Rubbermaid containers. But it was so good. You need to try this for your family. It's kind of like spaghetti, but without the spaghetti noodles. Caroline does not like spaghetti noodles, but she could eat this. So it was a hit. I hate I didn't film the actual family meal, but it was wonderful. It was delicious. And you got a little bit of my chaos, my family wonderful chaos at the end. But anyway, we're going to do it again tonight. So I'll see you on tomorrow's video, as you're going to just hang with me for the day, and we're going to do another what's for dinner. So, all right, I will see you guys next time. I'll see you next time when we just do a what's for dinner, and I'm thinking I'm doing creamy chicken chili. So, all right, remember, if the grease is hot enough, you can fry anything. Bye, y'all.